Good afternoon, Year 11. Here I'm back again to give you a few instructions on this week's work. Meanwhile, I've looked at your pieces of work and I hope all of you have received my comments or remarks that I gave you with a few corrections I've made. Unfortunately, there are one or two problems with students who were not able to open it, but later again, I heard that you could solve the problem and sort it out some way. There was one bigger problem with Kenda's email address, but meanwhile, she obviously has received it. What I have to say in general is it is much easier for me to mark it if you word process it and hand in the word processed version. Some of your students wrote it handwritten by hand, then took a photocopy of it, and then sent me the photocopy. So what am I supposed to do with it? I print it, and when I print it, it all appears rather smudged and dark. And then I do my corrections. I send it back to you. Before I can do it, I have to scan it in again. And so in this process, it loses a lot of quality. And in the end, it's really dissatisfactory from its appearance or first impression on me, but also for the work that I have to do with it. And remember, I'm having 25 in your class and more in other classes. Anyway, I haven't received anything yet from 4 students of yours, and I'm not sure what to do with this. What about Julia Böhme, Amelinde Klein, Loretta Götze, Alex Manneke? I haven't received anything from you. Whatever it means, if I have no information from you, maybe you're happy with, poor results. Maybe you have a technical problem. Maybe you just don't feel like doing it. But at the end of the day, I have to give you some kind of credit, some kind of mark. So what do you think am I supposed to give you if I have nothing? Okay. The same holds for the presentations that are still due by some of you. I haven't heard anything yet about that. Remember, there's a deadline on marks for this term. I guess it's within the next week, the deadline. So if I haven't got anything by next week, there is nothing I can do for you, okay? So maybe you can still hand something in. Now let's come to this week's and the following week's tasks for you. As you know, most students are giving, or all students are supposed to give a presentation in February as well, or from February on. And what I would like you to do is not presenting a news issue this time, but it's presenting a book that you have read. It doesn't necessarily have to be a book that you have read in English. It can also be a German one. So when it comes to book presentations, I'll give you the material later on what you can give information on. For example, you start, of course, with the author, the name of the author of the book, the title, then you add the year when it was published, and maybe the historic context in which the book is, or the action of the book is embedded. Maybe you have some information on the author, and then what is most interesting about the book is the main characters. Remember, we are not talking about people, we are talking about characters in books, and you should give some information whether or not the character is changing, okay, or whether it is unchanging. Then we would speak of a flat character, of course. Are there any more strings of action, or is it just one string of action? Maybe you have some side actions next to the main action in the book. Then, of course, some information on whether or not the main character is in a conflict. What conflict is it, and how is the conflict solved? Yes? Is there any solution towards the end? Are there any surprising moments in the action of the book or in the plot? Anything that surprised you, that shocked you, or that made you laugh? Is there any chapter or any episode that you liked the best? If you like, you can read it out to the class, and that would be very interesting for the class to see what you have read. Okay. A lot of students tend to play movie trailers of the books they are introducing, because a lot of books were made into films later on, and there's a trailer for these films. Don't play these trailers in your presentations. They're not interesting for us. Yeah, what I want to hear is how you speak in front of the class and how you introduce the book that you've read. Okay? This is a long-term task, so I don't want you to give the presentation next week, but I want you to start with it. Just pick one. Maybe you still have to read the book that you want to introduce. Take down the notes about the things I told you, and prepare a presentation from after the half-term break. Okay, so that will give you 3 weeks to work on that. I guess that should be fair enough. Good luck with this, and if you have any questions, send an email and ask them. Okay, bye-bye.